Hey, y'all. We are live. Happy Juneteenth to everybody. My black ass still got to work, but enjoy y'all's day off. This is my review for Next Gen NYC, Ep.3. Yeah, this was a great episode, y'all. I am glad that I am one of the content creators that started out the gate reviewing this and continuing through it. And because I'm not really sure how many episodes this is going to be, I feel like it's going to be like an 8 episode season, maybe with the reunion. Who knows? But I enjoyed this episode. Let me know if y'all did. Before we get into this review, please make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Also, just letting y'all know again, to the people that can't find my new videos, you click the live tab when you get to my profile, because I don't do pre-recorded videos as much now. So hopefully we got that situated. Let's begin. So we open this third episode in a row with Ariana. I'm just like, geez, like I'll allow it because at least she's likable and at least it's not Brooks. Okay. So she's still on her journey of finding an NYC apartment. Now, let me just say that was my experience. Just right quick, when I moved here in 2013, this was in July, I did not find my place yet. I was staying with my friend who was gone from the summertime. I was living in the Upper East Side. And y'all, it is hard AF to find an apartment here. So I can reason with Ariana, like to find an apartment that's for you. Like, before this, if you were rocking with me, you'll see in my first few reviews, like I was, in a different apartment. That was my first apartment in New York City. And once you usually find an apartment, you don't move. So yeah, this was a little upgrade. So that's why I had to move. But anyway, I just really understood Ariana's plight of finding a new place because it is hard here, very hard. So while she's narrating why she loves New York so much, we see text messages exchanged amongst the cast, just, because the next event is held by Dirty Georgia. Remember the girl who doesn't wash her hands? Yeah, so then we see Crypto Bro messaging her to not invite Ariana and her boyfriend. But since Georgia really bonded with Ariana and they have a connection, she invites her anyway. So then next we're with boring Ava FaceTiming Brooks, and he's filling her in on the drama that happened in the previous episode. Basically how Crypto Bro was an asshole the entire evening. And here we are again with Brooks, spineless ass Brooks, bitch ass Brooks. I'm gonna have to start calling him that. Trying to get someone to fight his battles. Like Ava, has her own relationship with Crypto Bro, and she feels that she can get through to him concerning Brooks. Like she's the asshole whisperer. An asshole whisperer, yes. We're going back and forth between scenes with Ariana and her boyfriend and Crypto talking to Ava. He has no remorse trying to fight Ariana's boyfriend. And Ariana's saying that she doesn't really want an issue with Crypto since he seems to be I don't even want to give him the satisfaction of calling him the nucleus of the group because unfortunately that belongs to Brooks, but Crypto is definitely a main character in this show. And look, we need a villain. So that's our villain of this show. It works. He works on this show whether we like him or not. Let me see what y'all talking about. Mr. Clark says, I really wanted to jump through the screen to swing on Charlie for Riley. He's a cigarette. Seth needs to get off the screen immediately. I totally agree. Hey, Chris, new to the channel and loving the reviews. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Welcome to my craziness. Seth is a hot mess. Did he just give his child guilt away? It seems like it. We'll get to that. We will get to that uncomfortable scene. So then, actually, speaking of Seth, next scene we're with Brooks and his dad. And Lord, he is lame. Like, we knew he was lame from Salt Lake City, but it's definitely shining through in this episode. And in their conversation, we find out that Brooks has a boyfriend, and they're in a long distance relationship. Seth then asks him about his sex life, and of course, Brooks doesn't want to talk about that with him, and I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about it in front of the cameras either. Thank God, because I wasn't interested. I really wasn't. Brooks, I don't want to hear about your, well, I'm not going to say it. Like Diaries of the Pink Peen, no thank you. The conversation then moves on to, you guessed it, his fucking sister. Like, little sister gate. Like, can this die already? Please? Like, why are we still talking about this? Like I said in my last review, I gave it 2 episodes. He already apologized. Why are we still talking about this? Why? Brooks' dad then offers to talk to Crypto. Like, because he says he actually sees himself in Crypto, which I rolled my eyes. Like, I shouldn't be surprised. But now Brooks has his daddy fighting his battles. Like, all you had to do was just schedule a one-on-one, you, Brooks, as well as Crypto, and have this conversation. Like, hey, I don't like it when you talk about my sister in that manner. Like, I don't mind y'all dating, but please respect me and respect my sister. That's all he had to do. But he doesn't like confrontation. And he's a grown-ass man. Like, man up, stand up. Is Meredith going to get involved now too? Like, I feel like in the next episode, Meredith might as well just have a sit down with Brooks as well. So the next scene, we're with Gia and Teresa. I must say, y'all gonna probably be surprised by me saying this. Teresa is way more tolerable and likable in a guest role. Like, I smiled every time Teresa came on screen. Like, just seeing her as like a mom, worried about Gia, just, being funny and ditzy. That is the Teresa that I miss, genuinely. So I'm just thinking, Bravo, why don't y'all take Teresa off the Housewives and just give her a spinoff? Like, she already has a big ass family or whatever. I don't know. Because I feel like they want to keep Teresa on the show to keep people watching, but I don't know. Like, I think they should try a Teresa Giudice, just a spinoff series. Anywho, Gia talks about staying in Jersey and has no interest in living in New York. We found out that Gia is going to be hosting the cast at her mom's mansion for a pool party, which is a good idea, I think. And I love how she's telling her mom, like, what's going to happen at the pool party, as if her mom didn't help her plan this. Next scene, we're with Crypto having lunch with his mom and her current boyfriend. And he's explaining his upbringing, and it's very obvious he wasn't loved as a child. We get a fun fact that his mom used to date Basquiat. Yes, that Basquiat. And I mean, I was a little confused at first, but I think if you Google it, I think he was bisexual. And I really hope her boyfriend wasn't referring to him when he was talking about penis size at the table. I'm just like, Lord. Crypto then bores us with his daddy issues. No one cares that you grew up to be a dick, okay? Because your rich family didn't love you, okay? We don't care. My fucks are few, very few, and not on Juneteenth. Not on Juneteenth. Why is Chloe more of a storyline than Brooks? Exactly. Like, what else is going on? What else? Like, I would even want to hear about your gay ass boyfriend and like your whatever you're doing in New York. Like, what are you doing right now? Like, all he has to talk about is his sister. Let's see. Gia better have a party at that house because next year the bank might take it back. Wow. That's a good point. Oh no, we have a tree hugger in the chat. It's okay. Don't unfollow me. But I'm just saying that I like Teresa on this platform, not the other one. So the next scene where we're Brooks and the newer cast member Shy. Um, I think he's a bit of a weirdo. We still don't know much about him other than like he's a seamstress and he's an agent's assistant. Okay. So Riley passes by too. She's in this scene. And side note, Brooks still being on a family plan for his phone bill and then like saying, oh, well, when I have my own phone bill, that's what's going to feel really real about being an adult. I think I had my own phone bill by the time I went to college, at least. At least. I would say at least by the time I was 21, I was on my own phone plan. Anywho, they're discussing Georgia's event since production didn't show it to us. Like it's all in a flashback. Maybe it wasn't that interesting. We see that Crypto squashed his beef with Ariana and her boyfriend. Georgia got pissy drunk, and Crypto ditched Riley to take care of her. Basically, he met some floozies and just left Riley to take care of Georgia. And I must say, it is not fun being the sober person out and you have to take care of your drunk friend. Like, yes, I was probably tipsy, but I don't have to worry about nobody else. Next scene, we're with Crypto again. Now, see, like, he is just all throughout this episode, unfortunately. But he's getting a call from Brooks' dad, and he actually wants to meet up with him without Brooks there, which made it even more weird. And Seth, Brooks' dad, just lacks shame. Fast forward to them meeting up, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, Seth was talking about how he knows Crypto already to Brooks, but when he sees him, it's like, oh, I didn't know you were this tall. So this is their first time meeting. So what are you talking about? You know Crypto or whatever like that. Like you would have thought he's been over to the house and everything. Like they're meeting for the first time. The whole conversation is weird. Crypto took his daughter out on one date. One date. Like, why are you meeting up with this man? Let me see. Like, also, I don't understand why Brooks' dad was just insistent on using the word body count so much. It's just the whole exchange is awkward. I was trying to question whether or not he was sober in this scene. And then now we're talking about Crypto's roommate, who I think is the first time we hear that the OnlyFans guy is bisexual. And I'm thinking, did Crypto just out his roommate? But I'm not really shocked because, look, when I heard he was on OnlyFans, I did my research. I Googled, what's his name? Dylan. And if you look at his Twitter, he kind of teases some male-on-male action, some fondling, if you will. So I was like, oh, okay. Doesn't surprise me at all. And I like how it's just, maybe he's cool with Crypto just saying, oh yeah, I'm bi, who cares? I love that for Gen Z. I really do. Like, they don't care. Because back in my day, it was a thing. Like, what, bisexual what? You like men? Yeah. Back in the day. Look, college, it was a secret society of people that like dudes undercover, for real. Anywho, enough of Chris's business. It was just weird that Brooks's dad is just so interested in everybody's sex life. And then they're talking about that maybe Dylan can possibly be pansexual, and he's trying to explain that to Brooks' dad. And then Brooks says, well, yeah, I'm trying to get to that. Say what? So you're actually pan? I don't know, but we've heard rumors of him and Meredith being swingers, so I'm not too surprised. Not too surprised. So the next scene, it is the day of Gia's pool party. The New Yorkers are all getting into a Sprinter van to Jersey. They're headed there, and the vibe is great. It starts off great until they talk about the night of George's event. So basically, Crypto and his roommate, they meet the floozies or whatever. I guess the floozies are in their space and they don't even introduce themselves to Riley, Georgia, etc. So they're just like, hi, who are you? Like, you're in our space, just like, don't even introduce yourselves. Like, so yeah, like Riley says she introduced herself, letting them know that, introduced herself while letting them know kindly, I must say, and I'm really glad they had the flashback to show her. She was just kindly pointing out that, that's kind of rude, and I'm paraphrasing. Like, she didn't raise her voice. She didn't curse them out. She wasn't aggressive. She didn't seem angry in this flashback. But yet Crypto is retelling the story as if Riley was being super aggressive and angry. Like, you would have thought she went up to those white girls like the Gross Sisters or something like that. And already I see in this moment, wrong road. And not on Juneteenth. Not on June. I know it wasn't on there, but today is Juneteenth, damn it. So as Riley is telling her side, Crypto then imitates her doing this. I was just like, Lord have mercy. Are we still doing that in 2025? And you can see in that scene, y'all, if you rewind it, like Riley looked dead into the camera. I would have did that too. I was just like, is he for real? Did he just do that just now? So it looked like she was shocked. And Crypto even says that Riley accosted these girls. That's it. Like, you could tell that she was upset. And that is Candy Burns' daughter, because, she was angry. She was trying to hold it in. And she starts to cry. Like, they're like, Riley, what's wrong? So she lets them know that y'all do this all the time. Y'all. Because, look, she said that, y'all try to make it seem as though I'm this scary person when I'm just addressing, especially when I'm addressing a white girl or whatever, when all I was doing was just letting them know that you're coming into space, like, introduce yourself, you're being rude. And Riley then points out how Crypto mocked her, and she's like, why are you doing, when have you ever seen me do this? And he tries to gaslight her. Ooh, I wanted to jump through the TV, y'all. Like, I'm glad that Ava, cardboard ass, sawdust personality Ava, jumped in and had her back and was trying to get through to Crypto that what Riley's saying is valid. So at least Riley wasn't completely by herself. But we'll get into that, because I still think that she was still kind of alone on that Sprinter. Now, I'm glad Ava said something, but I think we can tell that the white kids see Ava differently than Riley. But, Riley even points this out later. We'll get to that. But Riley also says, well, this has happened before, where Georgia, and look, I'll admit I was wrong in the first episode about the hand washing incident. You see me saying that, oh, well, I thought she said that Riley was scared of her. But what she was really saying, my bad, y'all, that Riley was scary as she was addressing her about it. Now, Riley says she let it go that time, and, they squashed it. But she's just talking about, like, how it's happened before. Anyway, Crypto is just digging a bigger hole for himself, saying Riley is the one that approached these little girls, trying to, infantilize these white girls now. And Riley was like, what the fuck are you, I'm paraphrasing, y'all. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, those girls were older than me. Like, can we remember that Riley is like 22, 21, I think? Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But she's just like, just because I'm tall, like, I'm seen as just this aggressor. Whew, y'all. Like, I'm just so glad that Riley was standing her ground. And I was just so proud watching her. And I know Candy was too. Because look, instead of crypto making excuses, you need to listen and acknowledge and then apologize. But he's too much of a privileged frat bro twit to really understand that. And look, Ava again has to be the asshole whisperer to crypto to make him get it. Like, it was just really annoying me. And he then gives Riley a less than sincere apology. Now, here are my thoughts on this. Like, just seeing this, just as someone who went to a PWI and really had the culture shock, because when I graduated high school, like, it was 98, 99% Black. And then I go to LSU and I am definitely the minority. Like, this was the first time where I felt like, oh shit. Like, I don't know, like, you're just reminded that you're Black. Like, you don't really think about it when you're in an all Black setting, like, oh, I'm Black, you know? Like, it's just like, okay, everyone around me. But when I'm like the only Black person in my class, and then I think I told y'all this story before. I was in my, like, it was like the gaming hall in our dorm, and this guy was just like looking at what I was wearing, and this was Echo Unlimited at the time. And he was like, oh, you want rich ass thing. It was like a record scratch. I was like, what did you say? And he was like, oh, no, it was no offense. This wasn't a white guy. This was an Asian guy, by the way. But I guess he thought that was okay. And I really had to, like, set it straight, like, you know, I'm not mad, but please don't address me as that again. Thank you. But yeah, like, Lord, the number of microaggressions in my 5 years in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, whew. Whole nother story, different day. But anyway, another thing that I thought during the scene that really pissed me off, go back and look at it and look at Brooks. Didn't want to say anything, didn't even stand up for Riley. Like, look, Ava, I get why that she's speaking up, but you can also be that white friend to stick up for your Black friend in this situation. Like, check him. That's your friend too, right? Silence. He was silent. And I was really, really disappointed in Brooks because, you know, he loves to have the girls fight his battle, but he can't even show up for your own friend. You a bitch ass. I know I was about to say, wait a minute, I can't say that. But you just a real, like, you just giving some real bitch energy. Like, I really didn't like that at all. Anywho, let me know what y'all thought about that scene in the comments, because those were the two things that just really made me think. It made me think back to my college experience being in like a PWI, and then Brooks' silence, because that really shows you, you know, who has your back in those moments. Anyway, the mood in the Sprinter is just now fucked. It's quiet, and poor Gia, she has no idea that this drama went on as they arrive. So then later we see Riley step away from the group to call her mom, Miss Candy Burris, and we get a little cameo through her FaceTime. And y'all, this scene kind of got me. It kind of got me. I just thought it was so sweet. Like, Riley is clearly upset about what happened and venting to her mom. I would be upset after that too, because it's a situation where it happened on camera as well as with friends too. And it's just always, no one wants to talk about it, but it's a hard conversation to have with your white friends to check them. And yeah, I'm pretty sure she was really angry, and she can't afford to be angry in that setting because it would only be worse on her part. Anyway, I'm sure when Candy saw this footage, she wanted to jump through the TV, as did I, as did y'all. Because I think that, you know, we've seen Riley grow up on Housewives of Atlanta from season 2 to season 15. So of course we're gonna feel some protection with Riley. So I can just only imagine how Candy felt watching that. So then we see Candy passionately let Riley know that being the only Black woman in the situation, and you know, technically she's the only black girl, but y'all know what I mean. You're going to face these challenges, and people like Crypto is just going to have to learn to deal with black women. Let him learn today. And, she tells her that she's proud that she spoke up for herself, never feel bad about speaking up for yourself. And, I kind of shed a little tear because that was a real moment. Like, I love that pep talk she gave to her daughter. Like, yeah, I even kind of cried the second time watching. It was really sweet, y'all. And I'm just like, this is a good ass show. Like, Riley is really a main character. So then later on, oh wait, let me see what y'all saying right quick before I move on, because I don't have that much left to recap. Charlie really messed up with that one. Loved Riley for speaking up for herself and black women. Seth sucks. Hope we see Meredith next episode. Brooks is not a punk. That's somebody crushing hard on that. Rich the Fish, go to your corner. I was disappointed as well. If Gia had been there, yeah, I think Gia probably would have said something. And Ariana, I'm not faulting Ariana because she's just reconnecting with Riley. But Brooks is Riley's friend. That is his duty. And look, if it's one thing I'm going to speak up for, I'm going to speak up for my homegirl who has my back. So it was just, it just made me angry that he didn't say anything in that sprinter. Hey, Carlos. I wasn't expecting Brooks to say anything. Typical passive white queen. Look. The whole bus was silent with the exception of a little chirp. Not a little chirp from Ava. Oh, we going to get on Miss Ava. We going to get, because she needs to be called to the carpet too. So is Gia planning to live or work at NYC? I don't think neither. I think she's very comfortable living in that mansion. I think Riley articulated her thoughts really well. I felt so bad at how much it got to her. It drove me really insane how they're blatantly painting her as an ABW. Shows you how progressive Gen Z is. Candy is a real one. Look, because we know that Candy rides hard for, don't mess with her family, her man, or her food. We already know these things. Oh my God, I want to see an after show. Candy, if you are watching, please give us a speak on it. Just one episode with Riley and her experience, because we need to hear what you thought watching. I really want to know. I think if Ariana felt Riley needed help, she would have spoken up. I would say that. I think Riley handled herself well and didn't need anyone to speak up. I agree with that too. But still, I just expected more from Brooks because they're closer. I'm just like Gia. I'm going to stay home and just commute like most of us Jersey girls. Living in New NYC isn't necessary. It's a choice. I agree with that. And yes, Candy's voice was cracking. I know she was hot. Exactly. So let's move on, y'all. So later on, Crypto wants to talk to Riley one-on-one away from everyone to apologize. So it looks like he's listening, and it looks like he's sincerely apologizing that he hurt Riley's feelings. But later on, we're going to find out that all that didn't mean shit. We'll get to that. Meanwhile, as they are all making pizza, Teresa calls and makes sure they are making it the right way. She says she's been watching them on the security footage, and I thought that was hilarious. Again, this is the Teresa that I fell in love with. And look, I will be fair. I don't care for Teresa, but in this moment, she's very likable, and I'm enjoying her on this show. Yes, you heard that right. So we then cut to Crypto talking to Georgia and her gay friend, telling them he didn't mean his apology because he's really not sorry. Of course. You are a product of your sorry ass parents who did, that you didn't get love from, and you're just an ignorant white person that relishes in their privilege. Trash. So moments later, George's gay friend tells Ava what Crypto said. Ava is pissed and she feels slighted as well now and actually lets Riley know what Crypto said. So Ava asks Riley, well, do you want me to speak to him to get through to him? And look, I love how Riley just cut through the bullshit. She pointed out that, even though, you're another Black woman, he doesn't view you the same way that he views me. Oh, I was yelling, y'all. I was yelling at the TV. I was like, clock it, Riley. Like, Riley is like, you wouldn't think she is my age, the way she is just so eloquently just speaking her mind right now. Like, Candy raised her right. She raised her right. Like, she then continues to eloquently point out to Ava their differences, clear differences, and said, doing all this, like him doing this hurts you too as a Black woman, and he doesn't even realize the position he's putting you in. You in. You better go ahead, Riley. You better go ahead. Look, sorry, I enjoyed that scene a lot. It was really good because, look, let's be real. Crypto does not see her as Black. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it a buck. And we all know why. We all know why. The look on Ava's face after Riley told her that, you would have thought she had an epiphany. You can see it on her face. So anyway, Crypto comes over. Riley calls him out and asks, did you really just apologize to me just to appease me? He said, yeah, that's what you wanted, right? We already talked about this. I apologize. We're good. Trash. Like, he's like, we went over this already. Riley was like, okay, we're good. And she walks away. Now, Ava is mad at Crypto now. And this is what bothers Crypto, that Ava is now mad at him. He didn't give a shit that Riley was mad at him, but now he gives a shit that his real homegirl, Ava, is mad at him. She's like, oh, what, you're mad at me too now? So he goes back over to Riley and he asks, are we good now? Because now Ava's mad at me. Riley was like, good, because you need to realize that you have Black women as friends. That child was raised right. She was raised right. I love that she is just sticking up for herself. Look, I almost gotta chew Alex out for trying to come for Riley every episode. I gotta watch his review because Riley is just really like doing the damn thing on this episode. Anyway, so I don't know. He's pissed that Riley is talking to him like now and trying to get through to him again. So he just tries to walk away. He's in like a fight or flight mode. So she grabs his arm, telling him to listen, but he's like, let me go. And she does immediately. So then he wants to leave the party like the coward that he is. So meanwhile, Riley and the others, they go back to having drinks. And that is where the episode ends. That was a good ass episode, y'all. Like that was better than the last two. And also just applause to Riley. She really handled herself really well. Just a true reflection of being raised right. Like, I really enjoyed this episode. I would say I would give this a 9 out of 10, y'all. Almost a perfect 10. I'm very shocked. I had very low expectations for this show. And then I realized the day afterward, yesterday, when the clip came out, now everybody's wondering, what show is this? What show is this? Like, Riley, brilliantly standing up for herself. Now everybody wants to watch the episode. So I had to, let people know that I was reviewing this show, and really they need to give it a chance because now the Black audience is interested now that something like this happened. I mean, whatever, it is what it is, but I'm glad that the conversation, and I'm glad that they're getting their socials up on the show because they might get a season 2. You never know. Anywho, let me see what y'all saying before I get out of here because I gotta go to work on Juneteenth. Charlie is a loser, almost 30, trying to be down with the younger set. Exactly. Riley is Candy 2.0. I totally agree. I'm only a few years older than Riley. She's someone I would hang out with for real. That's Mama Joy's granddaughter. What you thought? Who would have expected Riley to be so straightforward and to the point? She and Ariana are surprising me, and I love to see them team up on crypto when necessary. Well, in the next episode, it's going to be Ariana versus Ava. So it's going to be very interesting because it's so crazy how the housewives' children are really shining outside of Brooks. Like Gia's doing well. Like Riley and Ariana, I'm really surprised I like Ariana. Like she's really standing for herself. She has that, excuse me, wipe my nose right quick. She has that spice that Kim Zolciak had when she was likable, like in season 1, season 2, like when she used to go toe to toe with Nene. Like that's what I see in her. Like she has the good qualities of Kim. Good qualities. Riley been speaking her mind since her first scene on season 2 and shows how well Candy raised her to express herself well. She did it for me this episode. I agree. Yep, even as a kid, she was the one who told Candy to ignore Joyce and get married to Todd when Candy was buckling under Joyce's pressure. Good point. Now that you say that, you're right. I remember her saying how she doesn't need a dad. She actually has always expressed her feelings. People online were saying Ava's BF during filming, and until recently was one of those crypto boys torturing that rich guy's scandal. That's how Ava was friends with Charlie. Riley took deep breath, though, that pinched nose, and let them know what was up. This reunion, that baby will come in there with red hair and that Candy attitude. I'm liking this show. Thanks for putting us on, Chris. You're welcome. And hopefully I'll stick around for the rest of my reviews. The show is refreshing as opposed to the Crazy Housewives. I agree. It seems like a fresh, different type of show. And then for the younger set, yes, I love Ariana. Nothing like Kim. Well, the bad parts. Thank you so much, Andrea. Tips aren't required, but greatly appreciated. Cash App, $CDiggy1. And if you want, you can also donate to the GoFundMe. We are 70%, into our goal. We have 30% left. So crazy. We're 1,800 away from getting our our full goal. So crazy. Thank y'all so much. So yeah, I'm glad to see y'all all enjoyed the episode. Y'all are enjoying the season. Look, I was really passionate about this episode. Y'all knew I was going to have a lot to say. Again, shout out to Riley. You did the damn thing, girl, and I can't wait till the next episode. So y'all let me know your thoughts as always in the comments. And with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next episode.